Hello everyone, Bishie here and welcome back to Changeling. I spoke with the developers and they said Chapter 3 just happens to be the last chapter. And the last chapter is going to delve more into the mystery, or maybe answer some questions. So here we go. I was pretty sure I was dreaming, but it was cold and pitch black. There was no sound, no sensation. I tried to move, but it was as if the darkness was weighing me down. I tried to scream, but there was nothing. I couldn't hear the sound of my own voice. I couldn't even feel myself screaming. As I waited for any sign, or any sound or hint of light, I slowly became aware of the fact that I was running. The slow tingle of sensation began to creep back. I could feel my feet crashing through what felt like the underbrush. I have to find what? I didn't know. Twigs and stones cut into my feet, and inwardly I screamed at myself to stop running. No, not yet. Not yet. It was my voice speaking, but it wasn't me. My voice was raspy and weird, and I didn't even know what I had meant by that. Finally, I came to a halt. My hand reached out to steady myself against something. I felt scratchy bark against my skin. The moment I touched it, reality came crashing back. Or rather, it felt like I went crashing from nothingness back to reality. I expected to wake up in my bed in a cold sweat, but when I came to, I was standing up. I wasn't even in my room, but much less in my bed. I was in the middle of the woods, surrounded by trees on all sides. Panic rose in my throat. Did I do it again? That strange sensation of crashing back into reality was eerily familiar. How long have I been gone this time? My heart was thudding uncomfortably as I looked around and listened for search parties. It was probably stupid to immediately assume I had been missing for weeks already, but it's not like it would have been unprecedented. There was only silence. I wasn't sure whether I should have been relieved or not. At the very least, I must not have been gone long. But now what? It was dark but clear. I was in a bit of a clearing, so the moon lit up my surroundings pretty well. I turned, trying to get my bearings. To my great relief, I saw the warm glow of lights through the trees, only a short distance away. Was I just sleepwalking? Or something? That had never happened before, especially not to the point that I ended up outside. I took a deep breath and started making my way back towards the lights. It was freezing, and before I stopped to contemplate any major questions about the current situation, I needed to get back home. I would worry about the sudden sleepwalking problem after that. Something in the distance let out a long howl. A shiver crawled up my spine as I looked anxiously over my shoulder. Coyote, maybe? It was a ways off, but still too close for comfort. I carefully picked my way through a little gully, wincing as I found a blackberry vine I hadn't been looking for. Ow, ow, ow. I managed to wrap itself around both legs in no time. Thorns jabbed at my fingers as I tried to pry it off in all the dark. The sudden crackle of underbrush off to one side immediately put my heart in my throat again. What was that? I strained to see into the shadows. It might have just been a deer, but this area did apparently have black bears. Not to mention things like cougars. Everything went silent again. I was thinking of making a break for the lights. They were maybe 40 yards away, and up a little hill. I could make it. Suddenly, a shadow moved. I tried to make out the shape, but it was deep in the trees, beyond the moonlight. To my relief, it looked like it was moving away from me. But when it suddenly broke into a run, I was almost certain I'd glimpsed something person-shaped. What? Someone else was out here too. But who? And were they watching me? Okay, so if I were her, at this point of time, I would be used to this. She even said she was used to this. So if you're used to waking up in the middle of the night sleepwalking, Why do you find all of this weird? You should try to embrace it. Find out more about it. Read, research on it. It's been years. You would think that someone like this would research on it. I just don't understand where she gets so defensive about it. If it was me and I was going through sleep apnea or something like that, I would research on it. I would try to find a cure. I would be curious. I would also be into the supernatural, because she said when she was young she was into the supernatural. Oh, of course we're going to follow the shadow, but I don't understand why she isn't into the supernatural. I ripped myself from the blackberry vines with the thought of chasing the shadowy figure. It probably wasn't that smart, but I wasn't thinking clearly. I was outside at night and someone was stalking me. I wanted to know who it was and what was going on. I'd only gone a few feet before I realized that everything between me and that area was a sea of tangled blackberry vines. They were already snagging my pants, stabbing into my legs and feet. Ouch, 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 ouch. Thinking better of that decision, I retreated and decided to limp my way back up the gully towards the lights. I kept an eye out in case that figure came back, but they were nowhere to be seen. At the top of the gully, I realized that I had been just below my house the entire time. The lights I'd seen were from Elliot's back porch. Thank goodness. The back gate had been left wide open. I must have come out through there. From the looks of it, I hadn't been gone long. Lights were still off inside. Fortunately, I woke up before I got too far away. I let myself back into the yard, quietly creeping to the house and into the partially open back door. It was so weird, knowing I had to have come this way, but I didn't remember any of it. It wasn't like it was unusual for me, but I just could not afford to start this stuff up again. As I was shutting the door, I heard the sound of soft movement behind me. I spun around, startled. Spencer was there at the bottom of the stairs. I could barely make out his face out in the dim light from over the stove. "What are you doing?" I stepped out for some air. Couldn't sleep. I wasn't about to tell him I'd gone for a little sleepwalk in the woods at night. I padded across the kitchen and tried to get up the stairs, but Spencer blocked my way. "That's all you were doing?" "Yeah, that's it. Can you let me go to my room? I'm freezing." I paused. Wait a second. I've been doing the creepy sleepwalker thing and had to do some serious thinking about that, but what are you doing up? "I heard you coming in. I thought it might be a burglar." "Oh, well, it's not. Just me, and since I live here, could you please move?" He didn't look like he wanted to, but he finally stepped aside and let me pass. It wasn't until I shut the door to my room that I realized Spencer had been fully dressed and wearing shoes. Why was he fully dressed if he got up when he heard me come in? Then again, maybe he'd thrown his clothes on when he thought he heard someone downstairs. No one wanted to confront a potential thief in a t-shirt and boxers. I assumed. But I was way too tired to dwell on that. And before I could go back to sleep, I had to pick the thorns out of my feet. Then disinfect the numerous cuts and scrapes. That occupied me for far longer than I would have liked. When I finally fell into bed, I didn't have any more answers about why I'd been outside than I did when I first woke up out there. And I wasn't sure if there was anyone I could tell about it. Before bed last night, and before my nighttime escapades in the woods, Allie and I had texted quite a bit about my less than exemplary first day at school. She had casually informed me that she would be driving me there and back for the foreseeable future, or at least until I got my own car. Fortunately, she lived in the same neighborhood, so it wouldn't really be an inconvenience for her to stop by. The only drawback was that she usually had to arrive early because she did extra credit work in the office. It was mostly just filing and such, but it meant she had to be there quite a bit before class started, which meant I would have to loiter around the school and with nothing to do for half an hour or so. I wasn't going to complain though, it could have been worse. I had to admit that I was kind of annoyed Spencer basically won. He wouldn't have to drive me to school or put up with being anywhere near me anymore. But then Dad informed us that Spencer had lost car privileges for the month. Dad would pick him up after school and drive him to the showroom from work. And the poor guy would have to catch the bus every morning. To add insult to injury, the car would sit unused the entire time, since I'd be riding with Allie. She's not even going to be using it? Too bad. You left her at school, on purpose. I don't think you deserve to drive the car. I'm already going to be working for you for a month and doing all her chores. I get it. I'm sorry. I just had a bad day. That's not an excuse to leave your sister standing in the parking lot crying. They were already at it when I came downstairs that morning. I tried to ignore the fight as I ate breakfast. It wasn't easy, especially with the look Spencer kept giving me. He could not expect me to feel sorry for him. There was absolutely no way I would feel sorry for him. I mean, he was my brother, and he was already being punished. I tried to ignore the part of me that wanted to defend him. Yeah, ignore it. He was being a jerk. I mean, the punishment was kind of harsh, but to be honest, I kind of loved it. Yeah, sue me. He deserved it this time. He really did deserve it. He just... this is just desserts, buddy. It's karma. Maybe it would shake him up enough that he'd deal with his issues and start treating me like a fellow human being again. Exactly. If he wanted to be mad at me forever, fine. But maybe now he wouldn't go out of his way to be mean to me. Or hey, he could maybe even try to work things out like a normal person. Exactly. Besides, I'd had a bad day too. And a sizable portion of my bad day was because of him. I was just rinsing my breakfast dishes when I heard Allie honking. Moments later, I ran out the door, still trying to pull on my jacket. So, I was thinking, a dangerous pastime? I'm not playing. Aw. Anyway, I was thinking that you should join my club. The one you were at yesterday? Man, it's so much nicer to ride with someone who isn't ignoring me. Yep, there are only 2 girls in it. One is me and the other is, well, she doesn't show up every day anyway. And she's kind of a bit catty. Oh god, don't tell me it's Kara. No. So you want me to join a club and deal with some other catty girl? I want you to keep me company. You'd fit in great. Give it a try, please. In any case, if you're waiting for me to finish up every day, you might as well just join it instead of sitting around. Okay, that's a fair point. What is this club anyway? Paranormal Mysteries Club. I stared at her. Really? It's actually really fun. So what, you research Bigfoot or something? Do ghost hunts? Well, not exactly, but you'll find out if you stop by. I promise you'll have fun. Oh, those 2 guys you live next door to, Elliot and Danny, they're both in it. Seriously? I didn't think either of them would be into that sort of thing. Why is she coming off as if being into the supernatural's weird? Like, practically her whole life should be weird, because she goes through all this stuff, and she likes mystical fantasy books, doesn't she? Why is she acting like this is a bad thing? This is great. I love fantasy stuff. Why is she so turned off by it? It's like she's like, ew, you guys are weirdos. Like, I hate that type of person. You'd be surprised. Just think about it, okay? Well, it wouldn't hurt to give it a try. Allie let out her characteristic squeal of excitement. It would be annoying if it wasn't so completely adorable. When we reached the school, Allie went to help in the office. I decided to stop by my locker before going to the library to read for a while. It was definitely still pretty early. There was almost no one around as I opened my locker door to grab my trig and chem books. I really hoped that things would go more smoothly than the day before. Yesterday morning had been okay because the stories hadn't spread that far yet, but by now, everyone had heard them. I really hate being the center of attention. I heard a soft sigh and turned around immediately, expecting to see someone behind me waiting for me to get out of the way. There was no one there. I looked up and down the hall, but there was no one in sight. Okay, that was weird. I definitely heard something. Chewing my lip, I slowly shut my locker door, still listening. Maybe it was a draft of some kind, but it really had sounded like a person. I shook my head and took a deep breath. It was probably just my imagination. I was on edge because of yesterday and last night, that was all. I headed for the school library. I wonder what sort of things they do in the Paranormal Mysteries Club. Allie had said it was fun. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to give it a try. The librarian was nowhere to be found, so I hid in a corner of the library and read until the first bell rang. After that, I basically spent my entire day thinking about Allie's club. Well, at least she's open to the idea. You know, she's not like, ugh, no. She's open to it. That's good. She said Danny and Elliot were in it, but I didn't sit close enough to either of them in lit class to ask about it. The only thing interesting about Trig was Corvin managing to fall into a knee-high wastebasket. Chem was boring. Everyone had quickly realized Spencer would not engage with men. They directed all questions at me. So I told them I'd been kidnapped by Bigfoot and Elvis. I couldn't wait until that rumor got around the school, and I really hoped Kara enjoyed it. As soon as I reached the cafeteria, Danny ambushed me and insisted I have lunch with his group. Since it was better than eating alone, I didn't argue. Elliot was already waving at us from a table across the room, which made it even more impossible to say no. Danny led me over to where he and a few others were sitting. So everyone, this is Bishie. I shifted uncomfortably as all eyes were suddenly on me. Oh, the new girl everyone's talking about. Please tell me everyone is not actually still talking about me. Well, she is new anyway. You sitting here today, Bishie? Yeah, looks like it. I was relieved that no one argued. They just moved their chairs around so I could sit, sandwiched between Danny and Elliot. So how do you know Danny? I looked over. It was a girl talking. I looked over at the girl talking. I had no idea what her name was, but she had a nice smile. Well, I moved in next door. Oh, so you're neighbors then? I nodded. Yep. That's what moving in next door meant, pretty much. Okay, calm down, sassy much. Jeez, she was just pointing it out. Golly. Yup, that's what moving in next door meant, pretty much. Okay, calm down, girl. He leaned across the table and grinned. So all the things people are saying about, are they true? James, come on, man. I was just asking. It's fine. And like I've told everyone so far, no, most of the things people said are speculated or not true. I really did get lost in the woods. I really don't remember it. My brother really was attacked by what we think was a cougar while out looking for me. Yes, he injured one of his eyes. No, they're not sure how. It's actually nowhere near as mysterious as people try to make it out to be. It was just sensationalized at the time. So you really didn't see a murder in the woods? Christina. I think that's about as likely as encountering Bigfoot. Maybe it was a serial killing Bigfoot. I liked her. Well, aliens are also a popular theory. Serial killing Bigfoot? Alien? Now that's just crazy talk. Everyone laughed, and I was just relieved the conversation didn't seem like it was going to be the usual interrogation. Oh, Elliot, man, I read about something yesterday that your club totally should investigate. Oh? Bat squatch. Bat squash? You know, like giant bats. He gestured wildly as he started explaining this supposed creature to Elliot. I tuned him out and turned to Danny. So, I don't see Allie anywhere. I didn't see her yesterday either. Do you know if she eats somewhere else? Allie? Yeah, I don't think she eats in the cafeteria. Ah, I see. That was disappointing. I guess it meant I couldn't even have lunch with her. I wonder where she did eat. Maybe with the teachers or something? Though I couldn't imagine that would be fun. But even if she wasn't around, Danny's friends weren't too bad. They were rowdy, but really nice. I didn't usually like crowds but after yesterday, it was a nice change of pace to be surrounded by friendly people. Speaking of the club, Allie mentioned she'd invited you to join it. Oh yeah, well, haven't made up your mind about it? Well, I mean... I glanced back at James dubiously as he tried to convince Elliot that bat squatch was a viable topic of study for the club. Do you really study things like that? Danny just laughed. No, not really. We do look into the paranormal, but I suppose it's more mainstream paranormal. Is that even a thing? Of course it's a thing, girl. Have you not heard of vampires, werewolves? These are things happening in nowadays time. Do you not pick up the book Twilight? It's in the library. You can rent it from a middle school library. There's a lot of folklore that has much more solid foundation beneath it than Bad Squatch. I heard that, Dan. Danny just laughed and shook his head, ignoring the remark as he leaned closer to me. You don't think that maybe some folklore has a seed of truth to it? I guess it depends on the folklore. I mean, if you take something like the vampires of Europe, a lot of people think that certain historical figures might have inspired some of those tales with their less than savory behavior. Yeah, sort of like Vlad the Impaler. Everyone called him Dracula, and that is where Dracula came from the historical figure Vlad the Impaler, who would, there were rumors about he killed lots of people, and he would use the heads of his victims, put them outside his castle. Whole movie about that. Yeah, that's what she's talking about. But if you're suggesting that the seed of truth is supernatural in origin, I'm not so sure about that. What? But it does make for a potentially interesting study topic, right? I suppose it might. Maybe. What are you talking about? Yes, it's very interesting. Let me into the club, please. If Allie invited you, then you should consider taking her up on it. It might be nice to have a new member. No, seriously, we'd love to have a new member. Hey, that's not fair. I tried to join too, you know, and your president kept avoiding me until I finally ended up joining something else. And now my schedule's too full. I thought you didn't join because the club room creeped you out. That's not it. I mean, it's kind of creepy though. I didn't even think the Mysteries Club accepted new members. Everyone I know who even thought about joining ended up not doing it. We take new members sometimes. I think people often just decide they don't have time for it. Huh. Now they're making me kind of curious. Thank you. You're showing some curiosity in the supernatural. Thank you. I would be all over this. I'd be like, yeah, let me join. I'm the type of girl that's like, yeah, let's go for it. Supernatural stuff. I love everything supernatural. I just can't believe she's not into that stuff. I mean, her whole life is centered around weird happenings. Just don't get that. Danny seems so down to earth. I couldn't quite make the connection between him and a club like that. Hey, judgmental much, girl? How dare you take looks into consideration like that? He may look like a jock, but he could be a nerd. Jeez. But his description of it actually did sound kind of interesting. I mulled it over for the rest of the lunch, wondering just what kind of club it really was. By the time school let out, I was actually in a pretty good mood. The final bell rang and the entire day had only a few mildly annoying moments as opposed to the whole thing basically sucking. I was relieved. Allie showed up at my class to get me, waiting for me in the doorway while I shoved all my stuff in my book bag. We made a quick pit stop by my locker before she insisted on taking me up to the 4th floor to see her club room. So, did you make up your mind yet? I mean, about trying out the club. You will, right? Well, I mean, it's not like you have anything else to do, right? That's true. I'll just take a peek, okay? Alright, I'm sure you'll like it. At the bottom of the stairs, I paused and looked up. I'd been to the 2nd and 3rd floors, but never the 4th. I'd heard it just had a bunch of empty classes. Even when I was here in middle school, everyone had said it was haunted. We started up together. Are all the high school clubs up on the 4th floor? No, there are only about 5 others besides us. A lot of people prefer to use classrooms on the lower floors. Apparently, it's creepy up here. I have heard that. I stopped at the top of the stairs, shivering slightly as I looked down the long hallway. It looked just like the one downstairs, but I had to admit the atmosphere was different. Maybe it was because most of the lights were off? Or maybe the air was just stuffy, because no one really used the space much? It really did feel different, though. Come on! She took my arm and pulled me down the hall toward one of the open classrooms. I stopped outside and peered in. No one else was there. The club room itself looked pretty boring, actually. I was surprised. I somehow expected something that more obviously marked it as a place for weirdos. Really? Seriously? Were you expecting them all to dress in capes with candles and skulls? Or, seriously? Some of the things she says is just, it really is just really judgmental. And I don't know. She just comes off as someone who's just, everyone's judging her and she doesn't want that, but yet she's okay to be judging it herself. I don't know, she seems, it's not sassy, it's just, I don't know, she has some back talk in her. Especially after hearing how creepy people found it. Well, don't judge a book by its cover. Instead, it just looked like a really normal, empty classroom. It wasn't creepy at all. Looks kind of mundane. Huh? Out of nowhere, Allie practically shoved me through the door and something happened. So, what do you think? What? What? It looks a lot bigger when you're inside, doesn't it? I stared at her slack-jawed. She had the most infuriatingly smug look on her face. Bigger? Yeah, it looks bigger. And completely different. Where did all this stuff come from? I looked at the hallway. It looked as normal as ever. But the classroom was now brimming with furniture and decorations that had definitely not been in there when I was first looked in. I rubbed my eyes. Was I dreaming? No, I mean, obviously I wasn't. But how? I shook my head and walked back out into the hallway. It looks totally normal from out here, and Allie? I couldn't see her either anymore. I burst back into the classroom, and there she was again, along with all the decor and trappings. Whoa, I don't understand. What is going on? My head was spinning as I tried to work this out. Mirrors or something? It had to be mirrors or something, right? I knew you were one of us. She grabbed my hands and squeezed them, grinning at me happily. Whoa, back up. One of us? What? A paranormal, or a cryptic. Some refer to us as supernaturals as well. Mark? You sound uncertain. Wait, had he been there the whole time? He was standing in the corner by a large bookshelf, a book in hand as he stared at me. No, I know it's you. I just have no clue what's going on here. He shot Allie a strange look and huffed as an annoyed sigh as he snapped the book shut. I looked around wildly trying to figure out where the mirrors were or how they were making this look like a normal room from outside. She's probably still awakening, but I mean, she's obviously one of us. She's here, right? If she wasn't one of us, she wouldn't be able to see the club room. I looked back at Allie worriedly. Allie, you're kind of starting to creep me out. One of us? Paranormal? Cryptic? Okay, calm down. Deep breaths. I can explain. I don't want to take deep breaths. I want to know what's going on. Okay, well, you're a logical person. Just put 2 and 2 together. Clearly this isn't a normal classroom, right? Well, yeah. There are 2 possible ways to explain what you've experienced. Science or magic, right? Science was my forte, for sure, but magic? I think I need to sit down. Allie helped me to the nearest sofa, and Mark produced a glass of water from somewhere. For all I knew, he pulled it out of a hat. Okay. Why are you taking this so badly? I'm just one of those people that'd be like, yeah, magic, let's do it, Harry Potter. Does Harry Potter not exist in this world? I don't know, I really don't like how she's acting at this moment. I would be all for this. I wasn't expecting her to act this way. My head was spinning like crazy. Magic. Allie was not trying to tell me that this was some kind of magic room, was she? Or even before that, was she trying to tell me that magic was real? Feeling better? No, I'm not. Okay, calm down. He's just trying to help you. I would be, no, sorry, I'm not. Allie just laughed. I glared at her. This was not a laughing matter. I was having a crisis. Oh my gosh, girl, calm down. Are you telling me that magic is a thing? A real thing? A thing that actually exists in a real, practical way? Yes. And this room is magical. Yes. And I'm magical? Yes. I stared at the door. I could see the hallway outside. It looked perfectly normal. There was nothing near the door that could explain what happened when I entered. No visible mirrors, cameras, or projectors. Hell, I couldn't even come up with the way it would be possible to do something like that, with projectors and cameras. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly. At lunch, someone said that this club doesn't take new members much. This is a club specifically for the supernatural members of the student body. Obviously, normal humans can't be permitted to enter. Typical humans can't see this room, not as it is. As you noticed, from the outside, it looks like a normal empty classroom. From the inside, it still looks like a normal empty classroom to normal people. In fact, the spell on this place actually repulses normal people, so they don't even want to enter. A spell? On the room? Is this how Alice felt when she fell down the rabbit hole? Actually, Alice was pretty chill about falling down that rabbit hole. She was all about it. She's like, I'm Alice, and I'm gonna do this. You're just acting really crazy right now. That's right. It's actually a spell designed to protect the club from discovery. It can alter memories, perception, or even the room's location if it needs to. All toward that end. I mean, none of this could be true. But here was Allie, someone I trusted and knew was down to earth, and she was telling me all this. And maybe it was a prank, but I really didn't think Mark was the sort to play pranks. I was almost certain he didn't have a sense of humor. And Allie wouldn't do something like this to me. Not today. Would she? I was almost certain he didn't have a sense of humor. There she goes again. Being judgmental. Judging a book by its cover. She does that a lot, and I just can't understand why. Why does she do that? She takes one look at a person, and she's like, oh, he probably isn't into this, or she judges people a lot. I looked up at her, and she patted my hand gently. I tried to get my hand around what she was telling me. So I can see this room because I'm not normal. That's correct. What about you? I'm a witch. The magic-using kind. I blinked at her. Oh. Okay. I hadn't expected that answer. I licked my lips nervously. Okay. Let's assume for a moment that instead of thinking you're just insane, I believe you. How do you know I was what did you say? Cryptid? I mean, you invited me to this club this morning, so you already knew, right? Cryptic is the word you're looking for. We're not animals. Cryptids are creatures that can't be proven with science, but cryptic is just a name some people adopted for us. It's shorter to say than paranormal or supernatural, so a lot of us go with it. Fine. I'm not interested in vocabulary at the moment. I'm interested in how you knew I was one, or at least why you thought I was. It's because of Corvin. Corvin? What does he have to do with any of this? Remember that book he dropped? Yeah? That weird, creepy one? It wasn't just a book. It was a grimoire. Corvin was standing at the door, as if he'd just come inside. Man, if this was a prank, they were really going all out. But at this point, I had a feeling that hoping just a prank was pointless. Mark's lack of funny bone aside, Allie didn't look like she was joking. And I couldn't imagine her doing this to me after I had such a terrible day yesterday. It's not creepy, by the way. And don't call someone's grimoire creepy. Hey, Cor. So we were right about your friend. Well, you can see for yourself. Welcome to the Paranormal Mysteries Club, Bishie. Bishie, right? As usual, he was pretty bubbly. He waved at me from across the room. Did you say it was a grimoire? Like a magic book? That's right, and normal people can't see it. So when you so kindly want to pick it up for me, I knew you couldn't be a normal human. Thank you, by the way. That was nice of you. If I'm not normal, then what am I? A witch or something? And does that mean Spencer is magic too? Because I really don't think letting him have magic is a good plan. Who's Spencer? My brother. My very paranoid, emotionally delicate brother. While I was speaking, Corvin wandered over and sat on the table next to the sofa, and immediately overturned the glass of water Mark had given me. Sorry. He jumped up as a cascade of water ran down his pants, and down the arm of the couch onto my lap. I was still too shocked by the whole magic thing to even react. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. He looked around, presumably for something to wipe up the water with. I just sat there, staring at my soaked jeans dumbly. Allie, perhaps you could... Don't worry, I've got it. Annoying as that was, this should prove it to you, Bishie. She flicked her hands toward me in a strange circular motion and chanted something under her breath. I felt an undeniable wave of warm air and looked down to find that my clothes were completely dry, as was the sofa. I patted my hands over my legs in wonder. There were no signs that they'd been soaked through only moments before. Whoa. That even dried my underwear. Creepy. Really, Allie? Come on. His pants were still soaked all down the front. Maybe if you'd learn to actually read the mood for a change. It wasn't on purpose. Help a guy out. Air magic really isn't my forte. Air magic? Corvin made his best attempt at sad puppy eyes. Allie sighed and rolled her eyes before repeating the hand gesture and chanting she'd previously aimed at me. This time I saw something. It was kind of hard to describe. The air around Corvin seemed to ripple, and the water was suddenly just gone. Is this real? This is real, isn't it? Allie turned back to me. I knew I was gawking up at her, but I couldn't help it. I mean, none of this was possible, except I was watching it happen. No mirrors, no tricks. This was the real thing. Oh my god. You're telling me that I can learn to do that kind of thing? Now that, we don't know. There are a lot of different types of cryptics, not all of which have inherent magic, and we don't really know what type you are. There are many that are non-human. Wait, if I was some kind of not human thing, wouldn't my family, know that? I mean, they'd sort of be not human things too. You'd think that, but it depends on the situation. In any case, some people get infected with something that changes them. Like zombies? No. Like vampirism or lycanthropy. I am not a vampire. Wait, a vampire? No, you are most certainly not a vampire. Hey, why are you saying that in such a snooty way, mister? 'Cause he's probably a vampire. But infection isn't the only way for humans to acquire supernatural abilities. Aside from being born with innate magic, there are lots of reasons humans develop powers. Being descended from paranormal creatures is one reason, like having fae or elvish blood somewhere in your lineage. Elves? If you did, there's a good chance your parents wouldn't even know, depending how far back it was. And fae blood can lie dormant for generations before rearing its head again. He is talking to me about elves. I gripped my forehead tightly. I could almost feel my brain being crushed under the weight of all this. What everyone is trying to get at is that there are lots of possibilities. If you've never demonstrated magic before, it's probably just developing right now. And probably for reasons similar to what Corvin just stated. So now you're telling me I'm not even human? I'm a fairy or something? Calm down. No one is saying that. We don't know anything for certain just yet. Now, why is she jumping to conclusions? I'm sorry, but I don't like how she's reacting right now. I just don't like it. There are ways to find out though. Some of them just take time. I don't think I want to join this, or be part of this. I mean, suddenly being not even human? It felt gross. You're kidding me right now? You kidding me? Just thinking of that idea, that I was not even what I thought I was my whole life. I didn't like it. I caught that look the three of them shared. What is it? It's just that you don't really get a choice. What? Calm down and listen. If you think about it logically, people like us can pose a huge threat to human society. If not because we have unusual abilities, then because by not keeping the secret, we could disrupt normal society. There are other reasons as well, but those are the primary ones. As you can imagine, there are organizations in place to govern people like us, since normal law enforcement can't really do it. Organizations like government organizations that keep track of cryptics. So now that part of the reason this club exists is because we kind of help keep an eye on the cryptics in the school and town as a whole. You mean there's more than just... Wait, Danny and Elliot are in this club? That's right. So they're also cryptics, and there are quite a few others. Once we discover someone new, we're obligated to report them and bring them into club. The cryptid registration office lets students register through us because it's less stressful than having to go to the local agency. But people who don't cooperate with us have to deal with them directly. It's way better to deal with us. I mean, they're not mean really, but still. The agency is definitely full of weirdos. You don't want to meet them anytime soon. So, I don't get a choice at all. Look, it sounds all scary and bleak, but it's not. Your world is about to become really amazing. And think about it this way. What happened to you and Spencer as kids may be connected to this. No, you think? You would think she would realize that. Oh, God. I just can't understand why she never really... Oh, now she's like, wait a second. That wasn't entirely implausible, really. And remember when we were little, you and Spencer used to always tell me about the things you saw out in the woods? We were just playing, though. Were you? It was so long ago. My memories were understandably fuzzy. I remember that Spencer and I had imaginary friends. Sometimes they would come and talk to me at night, and was all of that real? Then when I vanished, when Spencer was attacked, we could help you research that. Maybe find some answers. Maybe find a way to help Spencer and fix whatever broke there. You really think I could do that? Sure! If you learn about yourself, surely you'll learn something about your twin, too. Yeah, let's go with... But if I'm cryptic, does that mean Spencer is too? But if I'm some kind of secret girl wizard, or whatever, doesn't that mean Spencer is too? Not necessarily. Cryptics have weird genetic quirks. Like I said, with certain types of lineage, it's possible that no one will have even the slightest affinity for magic, or exhibit any cryptic traits for decades. Then it suddenly pops up again, in one person, in one generation, as strong as when it first injected into the bloodline. That's why something like that might be more probable for you than just spontaneously developing magic. Though that does happen too. Rarely. But it doesn't mean he's not. You are twins after all. It's just, given his personality, we might to approach him more cautiously. This is all way too much. I think I need some fresh air. I stood up and gave Allie a shaky smile. Bishie, just a few minutes, please. I just can't absorb all of this at once. I stepped around Mark and Corvin, heading for the door. This room felt like it was closing in around me. I had to get out of there and get back to reality. I could contemplate the implications of all of this in a place that didn't make me feel like I'd fallen down a rabbit hole with no hope of getting back home again. I didn't even know where I was going, just out, just away from here. Someone stepped through the doorway just as I tried to leave. Can you please move? My words trailed off to a terrified squeak when I looked up at the boy I was speaking to. He had no. My vision blurred. Stunned, I turned back to Allie, though I don't know what I intended to say. My airways constricted, and for a moment, I forgot how to breathe. Bishie! I think I'm going to pass out now. And with that, everything went black. Thank you for playing the Changeling demo. That is me clapping. Story and characters, GUI coding. Thank you to our beta readers and testers. Oh man, what to say about this game? Alright, I have a few things. I love how everything was put together. The story is really coming together, and I love it. I love the mystery. I love the fantasy. I love everything about this game so far. The only thing that I have, the writing. The writing is amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I mean, everything looks so well put together. Everything looks just so great. It looks really good. Even the settings. There is hardly any spelling errors that I could see. The writing's good. Characters are great. I love all the guys. The artwork's beautiful. It was the main character that I had a problem with. Like, in the beginning she was fine, but then she started going to school and she started judging people, and like some of the things she said were kind of catty too. She would complain about Kara being catty, but some of the things she thought were catty. She would judge people. She even said that the guy didn't have a funny bone, and she thought that the classroom would be filled with weirdos, and the way she took to her problems like that was just, I don't know, it's not how I would react, but that's just me projecting onto the character, and I guess everyone has their own projection. I guess some people would react like that, but that's my 2 cents on the issue. I think everything was wonderful. I think because I had those opinions of myself projecting onto the girl, I think that proves that the writing was really good. Like, I felt myself getting into the story, being projected. I felt interwoven into the story, which means that it did its job. The writing did its job. I wouldn't react like that. I would want more choices. I would want like a choice to react like, oh yeah, let's do this, or I realize that that's not possible, but it's just not how I'd react. When I find that in movies, when I find like the main character is just like being really, really difficult, I just can't stand that, because nowadays everyone who reads and loves fantasy and who's watched a movie like Harry Potter and stuff are like, I can't wait to become a wizard, or I can't wait to be bitten by a vampire and live with Edward or something like that, you know? So I'm used to that kind of thinking. I'm used to hanging out with people like that. I'm used to hearing that. So when I come across a person that's like, magic? What are you talking about? Well, that doesn't exist. You know, I tend to roll my eyes, because nowadays everyone wants to think that magic's alive. And who doesn't love fantasy? Who doesn't like to romanticize about being a wizard? So when she was reacting like that, I was kind of like, whatever, girl. Where have you been? Have you seen any movies lately? So that's just but I think that just proves that the writing is really well done, and that I could formulate such an opinion like that and be like, wait a second, you know, like, it's like watching a TV show for me. So I think STEAMBERRY Studio, the writers, the artists, everybody who's involved with this game did an excellent job, and I cannot wait to play the full game. I'm very sure our main character is going to grow. I'm pretty sure there's more chapters to go, and like I said, I give this demo a 9 out of 10. That's high. I love it. I can't wait to play it. And I hope you guys play it for yourself to guess the other choices, because I know I didn't do all the choices. I really love the mystery, and I cannot wait for more. And I'd like to thank STEAMBERRY Studio for making such a beautiful game, for working so hard, and being one of those indie developers that creates Otome games for us, for girls, and for anybody who enjoys this stuff. I really thank you guys. You guys are doing great work, and I appreciate all of it. So, I'm Bishie, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!